Welcome to the ABC of the Animal Kingdom. Dog Special. Today's guests are Betty, Bo, and Bubbles. Pics and videos are brought thanks to Betty_Bo_Bubbles_Bloodhounds. During his life, Francois Hubert was a passionate hunter who made it his life's work to breed dogs capable of following old, or cold, trails. An occupation he maintained, even after retiring to a monastery following the death of his wife. After his death, he was canonized and became the patron saint of hunters. For several centuries after Hubert's death, his hounds flourished. The Saint Hubert hound was, according to legend, first bred around 1000 after Christ, by monks at the Saint Hubert Monastery in Belgium. It is held to be the ancestor of several other breeds, like the extinct Norman hound and Saint-Angevin, and the modern Grand Bleu de Gascogne, Gascon Saint-Angevin, Ariège, and Artois Normandais. The name comes from the dog's status as an aristocratic breed kept by noblemen and abbots. In other words, it was a blooded or pure bloodhound. This derives from an original suggestion of Le Couteaux de Canteleu in the 19th century. Before then, bloodhound had been taken to mean hound for blood or blood-seeking hound. From 1200, the monks of the Abbey of St. Hubert annually sent several pairs of black hounds as a gift to the King of France. References to bloodhounds first appear in English writing in the early to mid-14th century, in contexts that suggest the breed was well established by then. It is often claimed that its ancestors were brought over from Normandy by William the Conqueror. In medieval hunting, the typical use of the bloodhound was as a limer or lyme hound. That is a dog handled on a leash to find the hart or boar, before it was hunted by the pack hounds or ratches. It also seems that from the earliest times, the bloodhound was used to track people. There are stories written in medieval Scotland of Robert the Bruce and William Wallace being followed by sleuth hounds. Whether true or not, these stories show that the sleuth hound was already known as a man-trailer, and it later becomes clear that the sleuth hound and the bloodhound were the same animal. The earliest known report of a trial of the bloodhound's trailing abilities comes from the scientist, Robert Boyle, who described how a bloodhound tracked a man 7 miles along a route frequented by people, and found him in an upstairs room of a house. With the rise of fox hunting, the decline of deer hunting, and the extinction of the wild boar in Great Britain, as well as a more settled state of society, the use of the bloodhound diminished. It was kept by the aristocratic owners of a few deer parks and by a few enthusiasts, until its popularity began to increase again with the rise of dog shows in the 19th century. During the late 19th century, numbers of bloodhounds were imported from Britain by French enthusiasts, who regretted the extinction of the ancient Saint Hubert. They wished to re-establish it using the bloodhound. Despite its developments in Britain, they regarded the Saint Hubert preserved unchanged. Many of the finest specimens were bought, exhibited, and bred in France as chiens de Saint Hubert. In the mid-20th century, the Brussels-based FCI accepted the claim of Belgium to be the country of origin. However, in Britain, the bloodhound has continued to be seen as a native breed, with European Saint Huberts being accepted by the United Kingdom Kennel Club as bloodhounds. Bloodhounds in America have been more widely used in tracking lost people and criminals, often with brilliant success, than in Britain. The history of the bloodhound in America is full of the man-trailing exploits of outstanding bloodhounds and their expert handlers, the most famous hound being Nick Carter. Law enforcement agencies have been much involved in the use of bloodhounds, and there is a National Police Bloodhound Association, originating in 1962. It is harmonious in its lines, endowed with strong bone, good muscle, and a lot of substance, but without ever appearing heavy. Its head is deep but narrow concerning its length, and long in relation to the body. The bone structure is clearly visible. The lateral sides are flattened, and the profile is square. The stop is slightly marked. On the forehead and cheeks, the abundant thin skin forms wrinkles and deep folds, falling when the head is carried low. The skin is less abundant in females. Their nose is broad, well-developed, with wide-open nostrils. It is either black or brown, always black on black in tan dogs. The muzzle is as long as the skull, deep, broad near the nostrils, and of equal width throughout its length. Their lips are very long and limp. The upper lips fall over the lower lips. and at the front, form a right angle with the upper line of the foreface, which gives a square profile to the muzzle. The edge of the lips is well pigmented, black or brown, depending on the nose color. Jaws are characterized by a correct scissor bite, although a pincer bite is tolerated. Eyes are medium-sized, oval, not weeping, neither protruding nor sunk, leaving the iris totally visible. These can be dark brown, hazel, and of a lighter hue in dogs without a black saddle or mantle. The expression is gentle, kind, and dignified, with a rather melancholy air. Their ears are thin and supple, set very low, level with the eyes or even lower, on the side of the head, falling in graceful folds. Lobes are very long, reaching at least beyond the end of the nose when they are laid on the upper line of the foreface. Its neck is strongly muscled and long, so that the dog can follow the trail with its nose on the ground. The skin of the throat is loose and extremely developed, presenting a double dewlap, less pronounced in the female. Its back is straight, broad, long, and solid, while the chest is oval in shape, well let down, clearly forming a keel between the forelegs. Ribs are well sprung, neither flat nor barrel. The tail is long, strong, thick, set high, continuing the dorsal line, tapering gradually towards the tip. On the move, the tail curves gracefully above the line of the back. On the body, the clothesline hair is short, dense, quite harsh, and weatherproof. On the head and ears, the hair is very short and soft to the touch. The underside of the tail is furnished with hair a little longer and coarser. There are 3 distinct coat colors, the bicolors black and tan, liver and tan, and the unicolor red. Among black and tan dogs, the amount of black varies according to whether it is a mantle or a saddle. In a dog with a mantle, black is predominant. The tan is only found on the muzzle, the cheeks, above the eyes, on the forechest, on the limbs, and on the anal region. A dog with a saddle has a greater expanse of tan, because the black is more or less limited to the dorsal region. The same positioning of colored zones is found in the bicolored liver and tan. For the unicolored red, the red can vary from light red to dark red. Male bloodhounds are significantly bigger than female bloodhounds. Males typically stand at about 25 to 27 inches, 63 to 69 centimeters, and weigh about 90 to 110 pounds, 41 to 50 kilograms. On the other hand, females typically stand a bit shorter, at around 23 to 25 inches, 58 to 63 centimeters, and weigh about 80 to 100 pounds, 36 to 45 kilograms. They have a lifespan of between 7 and 12 years. And the required level of physical activity is medium. Bloodhounds are not very high maintenance. They require a bit of care, but they are much easier to take care of than other canines. It is pretty important to frequently check their ears and wrinkled skin to avoid the concentration of moisture, impurities, and microorganisms that can lead to infection. You can clean these areas using gauze. Even though their short, dense coat sheds heavily about once or twice a year, brushing your bloodhound with a medium bristle brush at least once a week would be enough. This way you can remove much of the dead hair and also spread the skin oils around, which can help keep their coat healthy. Excessive bathing removes the layer of fat that naturally covers and protects dogs, leaving them more exposed to numerous diseases and skin problems. While bloodhounds will not just spend all day laying around the front porch, they are not as active as some other breeds. However, you should not let them get bored, otherwise, they will express it by baying and destructive chewing. Bloodhounds of all ages are chewers and will chew on anything that smells good or looks interesting. So, it is a good idea to provide them with enough chew toys and exercise. Plan on long daily walks. They are capable of going for miles. If you live in the country or enjoy hiking, this is the breed for you. Keep in mind they should not be allowed to roam free, as they will just pick a scent and stay with it. As they do not particularly pay attention to their surroundings when on a trail, it can be a problem. The Bloodhound is a gentle, placid, and kind dog. They can be somewhat reserved and stubborn.
Sit. 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 Sit down. Betty, sit. Betty, sit down.
The overall appearance is full of nobility, and while imposing, they are never aggressive. They do not really cuddle, but they are quite affectionate with humans. They are not very protective, as they are friendly with about everyone. However, they can make good therapy dogs due to their even temperament. While bloodhounds are well known for their loud baying sound, they usually do not make this sound unless they are on a trail. At home, they usually do not bark very much. The bloodhound is usually accepting of children. They are quite patient and can put up with even the most rambunctious children. Because of this, they are considered good family pets. They get along well with other dogs and even some cats if they are raised around them. They are pack animals, so many prefer to spend time with other dogs and people. Temperament is affected by many factors, including heredity, training, and socialization. When it comes to training, bloodhounds are highly intelligent but independent. Be consistent in what you permit or don't permit.
Sit.
Also be patient and use positive
Good.
reinforcement techniques such as praise and food rewards. Like every dog, bloodhounds need early socialization, since it helps ensure that your bloodhound puppy grows up to be a well-rounded dog. Bloodhounds are prone to certain health conditions. Although not all bloodhounds will get any or all of these diseases, it's essential to be aware of them if you're considering this breed. Gastric torsion, commonly called bloat, is a major killer of this breed. It is a condition that affects large, deep-chested dogs, especially if they are fed one large meal a day, eat rapidly, or exercise vigorously after eating. The Purdue University School of Veterinary Medicine reported that the bloodhound is the third most likely breed to suffer from bloat, behind the Great Dane and Akita. Other diseases to which they are prone, although not as serious as gastric torsion, are fold dermatitis. This skin infection is caused by friction or trapped moisture in the folds of the skin. The signs of fold dermatitis are redness, sores, and unpleasant odor. The treatment for fold dermatitis can vary depending on the affected area, but it can include topical ointments and antibiotics. Hip dysplasia. It is an inherited condition in which the thigh bone doesn't fit snugly into the hip joint. Weakness, lameness, or pain in the hips are signs of this hereditary condition. Elbow dysplasia, similar to hip dysplasia, is also a degenerative disease. Hypothyroidism. This is an abnormally low level of the hormone produced by the thyroid gland. It is thought to be responsible for conditions such as epilepsy. Last but not least, eye diseases such as entropion, ectropion, cherry eye or prolapse of the third eyelid, and keratoconjunctivitis sicca.